Hey everyone, happy Thursday. So I am so excited to be hosting tonight's team call. I am incredibly honored to be introducing to you all a very dedicated leader such as Sami. I've had the privilege of following her on Instagram for quite some time and getting to know her story. She has a burning passion for helping women on their own personal journeys, helping them see their own true potential, and helping them create such a strong and powerful foundation for their own businesses. She is not afraid to work, and it definitely shows. She has hit Success Club 65 months in a row. She has been a 3-time elite coach, is a member of the Legacy Club, has 7 business centers between herself and her husband, Adam. And she is a 2nd-time superstar coach and ranks number 6 with her team Better For It in the company. And I'm pretty sure she got the cutest award for her dog, Pongo. If that does not scream hard work, consistency, commitment, and dedication, I honestly do not know what does. She knows when to hustle, and she knows when to let her hair down, have some fun, and take a few shots of tequila. And tonight, she's going to speak with you about what she does behind the scenes that has helped her become so successful in this business and share some of the things that she doesn't necessarily share on social media. I don't want to spoil all the amazing things that Sami is going to present to you guys tonight. If we have some time at the very end of the call, we will answer some of your questions. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you and welcome you to Sami Glonek.
Thanks for that intro, Brittany. That was so sweet. Can you guys hear me? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Awesome. I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight and share with you a little bit more behind the scenes. And I just want you guys to just feel this next 30, 60 minutes, however long this call is, and just like vibe with me. Like, I want you to just dive into this call. I don't care if this morning you were discouraged because it's Thursday and you didn't rank advance, or maybe you didn't have someone on your team rank advance, or you were just like kind of in your feels because someone else on your team rank advance and they signed up after you. I know Thursdays for me in the last 5 years have been like some of the best days and also some of the worst days in this business. And so I have been coaching for now 5 years. If you guys know Jamie Innes is my big sis. So I always have to say we are biological, same parents, big sister, little sister, because we look nothing alike, even though we sound the exact same. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, and I am going to share with you my screen. Now, mind you, graphics are not my strong suit, but we're going to roll with it. I'm also going to just leave it in this because I like to see your guys' faces. And so I just want to share with you a little bit of creating leadership behind the scenes. I put my married name because I'm still trying to get used to it. I haven't, switched it over from Glonek yet because #COVID, I know. So there's that. But we're going to talk to you a little bit about just what I do behind the scenes, because I think a lot of times when I would get on calls with coaches, I'm like, okay, but where was the part that was relatable to me? Where was the part that you struggled? Where was the part? I want to know that side of things. So we're going to talk about a lot of different phases of my business. And so if you were to go back, 6, 7 years before I started Beachbody, my sister was the fitness everything. She was a personal trainer. She was a wellness coach. She loved fitness. And my idea of fitness was going to the bar and then going to the gym in the morning because I regretted whatever I drank at the bar. Like, that to me was my idea. I was into sports, but I never really utilized fitness as a health profession. I was actually going to become a dentist, and that was my passion since for as long I could ever remember. I was the 12-year-old in mock interviews saying, I want to be a dentist, I want to be an orthodontist. That was my passion. And I knew nothing other than wanting that. And so when I went to Michigan State for undergrad, I had every intention of going straight to dental school right after that. But if you guys have ever applied to any type of professional school, you know how much time, money, and effort it is to do that. So I spent thousands of dollars to apply, and I didn't even get an interview. So I thought, okay, plan B, even though I never planned on a plan B, is to become a dental assistant. And then I will go to dental school. That will be the plan. So I entered dental assisting school, and my sister started Beachbody. And her story is a little bit different than mine, but she had met her upline, Chelsea and Rob, on Instagram. She started up and said, Sami, you should do this with me. And I was like, no. Nice try. And if you guys have a sibling, you know how stubborn sometimes your sibling can be. That was me. I was probably the most skeptical person I have ever come across in Beachbody to this day. So I can tell you from firsthand, if Jamie could eventually get me to be onboarded, you can convince the skeptical people. But I always just thought this fitness thing was her profession. It was going to be her path, and mine was just going to go in a different direction. Well, what happened was in dental assisting school, I spent all my time studying and not a lot of time with my own health. And I would go on social media, and everyone on social media would tell me to count calories. So that's what I did. I was in a toxic relationship at that time, and I was feeling like a failure because my path wasn't working out. I applied to dental school for the second time. I didn't get an interview. And when you apply to dental school or any type of professional school, you usually apply to 7 to 8 different schools. So I kept getting told, you're not good enough. You're not worthy of our time. This is not going to work out. So what do I do? How do I feel this way? I'm in this toxic relationship. I'm in this school setting I don't feel like I belong in. And all signs are pointing towards, you got to figure something else out. So that was when Jamie got me on board to do a program with her, not coaching, a program. She introduced me to the 21-day fix because during this cycle of feeling like I had no control over anything, I did have control over one thing. And that was what went into my body based on food. So I started obsessively counting calories. Whatever went in, I tracked it. Whatever I would go to the gym and burn off, I tracked it. And it got to be a very unhealthy relationship where I had developed an exercise-induced eating disorder. And I didn't really know it at the time. But then I went to a turbo kick class Jamie was teaching, and I kind of fell down. She asked me what I ate that day, and it was a banana and a yogurt. She's like, something's got to change. You can't do this. This is not okay. And that was a really low moment. I'm an Enneagram 3. If any of you guys are that achieving personality, when you are getting told no from all these different areas, and then the one thing you feel like you have control over, you still aren't doing well at, man, I felt like the biggest piece of SHIT I could possibly feel of. So I said yes to doing the 21-day fix. And I can honestly tell you, in those 3 weeks, I went through every hurdle emotionally that I could probably go through. And it changed my life. As cheesy as that is, it changed my perspective on how I was fueling my body. And so fast forward a little bit of time, she did get me to sign up because I said to myself, I need everyone to feel this way. No matter what they are going through, no matter where they're at in life, I feel selfish holding this piece back, because if I feel this good, someone else will feel this good. So when people are always scared to invite to the business, or they're scared to invite to a program, man, I look back to where I was at. And when I think about that, if Jamie wouldn't have kept inviting me, even though I was her sister and skeptical, if she wouldn't have kept just sharing this opportunity and sharing with me how happy she was, even though it drained me and it was so annoying sometimes, it changed my life. So when I think about that, man, I can't even imagine not sharing this with people. So I went to Summit 2015. I was actually a year into quote unquote coaching. I had signed up in 2014, and I would say that my start date was the day after I got home from Coach Summit. And that was the day I stopped saying no, and I've hit Success Club every single month since then. It's not always been easy. It's not always been great and shiny and dandy, but it has been so rewarding. So just a little bit about me, because I feel like you need to know a little bit of where I'm coming from when I talk about leadership behind the scenes. Now, I wouldn't be a coach if I didn't start off with this. And I think it's so important. And this was the slide that everyone, whenever I saw people talk about, I was like, okay, can we get fast forward in the recording? Like, I don't need to know the PD behind the scenes. I already know I'm supposed to read PD. Okay, well, I'm talking to you because that was me. The thing about PD that changed my world, and I'm going to say in the last year, because I didn't consistently read personal development until the last year. And I've been in this business for 5 years. That's not very good, right? When that's one vital behavior. It's not to say I didn't read PD, but I didn't consistently read PD. But it was until someone said to me, when you're struggling, and I don't even really like that word because I think it's so relative to where we're at in life. But I think there's something to be said about the fact that when I am not at a 10 out of 10 Sami, there's usually one piece missing, and it's me working on myself. And when I look at it like that, sometimes that's the biggest income producing activity that I could do. Because if I am not feeling good and I am not feeling up to the occasion, and I'm like, oh, I have to send invites. Oh, no one showed up for my team call. Oh, my team page is so quiet. Why? I spent so long on that challenge group graphic. No one even liked it. When I have those days, what if I could reverse my thinking and just keep going and stop stopping myself and focusing on those hard moments? What if I could reverse engineer my thought process to say, okay, if this didn't work, let's pivot into something better. Let's work on something as a group. Let's work on myself, because even though my team might not be here today, maybe they were going through something. Maybe they never got the notification. Maybe they, had a hard day because they're a teacher and they're teaching through COVID. Maybe it's really not about me. And so sometimes I started reversing, what do I need today that I keep venting about to my husband, to my team, to myself? Oh, I'm a bad coach. Oh, this is going on. And so these are some of my favorites. There's something to be said about having a personal development. I like personal growth better than I like personal development. I feel like we're already kind of developed, but we can grow. Just choice on words personally. But then you also have professional growth. And sometimes I get so focused on professional growth because I'm like leadership mindset. But then I kind of forget that Sami myself needs that even more than Sami as a CEO. Or I focus so much on my feels that I forget that I'm a CEO, and I need to really develop that as well. Podcasts. My dude, Tony Robbins, like, he is my number one. If you guys don't listen to him, highly try, because I really didn't know much about Tony Robbins, but I heard a lot of people talk about him, and I was like, oh yeah, he can't be that great. I'm sure people just talk about him. Well, I watched a Netflix documentary, and I've pretty much listened to Tony Robbins ever since that day. So find someone, even if it's not him, that actually sparks your soul. And I know this is all at every single team call, but there's something to be said about the fact that it is on every single team call. Because when Kelly asked me to talk about what I do behind the scenes, not on social media, one of the things is because we all struggle sometimes. We all have those days where we just don't really want to. We have those days where we have self-doubt. We have the days of comparison. And it's not like you're going to put all your dirty laundry up on social media, but I think sometimes we kind of forget to talk about it. And you put these coaches on a pedestal, and I know I did, when I would see them on stage at Summit and they'd come out in this beautiful dress and these awesome shoes, because I can't even walk in heels. And I put them on this idea of, wow, someday I hope to have that confidence where they just crushed it. They are so lucky to be where they're at. No, because you don't know that 20 minutes before that, maybe they got a coach cancellation. You don't know that 20 minutes before that, maybe their kids were in the audience and they had a meltdown and their husband had to take them out and go back to the hotel. Like, you don't know any of that stuff. So sometimes I have to feel that. And I'm not going to just go up and show up on my team and be like, this is going wrong, this. You guys don't know that an hour before this call, I was sitting in bed crying, reading personal development because I'm just having a really shitty week this week. Did you know that? No. Because I had to find my own belief, and I had to channel myself, and I had to read the right personal development to show up, grab my hydrate, because if I drank Energize right now, I'd be up till midnight. But you know what? I'm here, and I'm bringing the heat, hopefully a little bit, even when you're struggling. Leadership notes. If this inspired you, or a team call from last week or 6 months ago, or the day you signed up really inspired you, go back to those notes. I think it's so important that you guys really just refer back to what you were inspired by at some point, because so many times we forget to do that. So many times I'll have all these notebooks from events, and then all of a sudden they just sit in the back of my closet. Or I have my planner here and I just have notes from like so many different team calls, and I don't even look at them again after that day. Or I look at them for a week. But yeah, I'm sitting here complaining about how I'm not inspired when I have visible inspiration right in my fingertips. If you're taking notes on this call, put it on a sticky note and put it on your computer so that you read it tomorrow and November 6th and February 12th, so that you're constantly referring to the day that you were like, I decided for me. I wanted this for me. That changed a lot for me. And I feel like I had to start this call with that because that is one of the main things I have to do behind the scenes. A big concept that I internally battle with all the time, and if you guys have brought on coaches, you've probably been this. If you guys have hit diamond, you've definitely dealt with this, and anyone beyond that, you deal with this all the time, is this idea of how much do I handhold my coaches and how much do I bless and release? Because I have been both coaches for so long in the 5 years that I've really coached this business. There have been times and years even when I spend so much time on people, handholding, breathing belief, in their DMs, seeing if they're jumping on the team call, in their inbox, hoping that they sent their invites today. Just like beating a dead horse, because I actually believe in them more than they do, or at least more in their goals than they do. I've also been the other coach where every time I would get on a training, national wake up call, people were like, bless and release. You got to bless and release. You got to keep onboarding, keep onboarding. So that's what I did. I just kept blessing and releasing. But the problem here with that mindset is you're missing the Sammys when you're blessing and releasing. If Jamie just forgot about me and blessed and released him, I mean, she would have been missing out on a decent downline in her downline. Had she not said, okay, even though it's not the right time, I'm not going to bless and release you. You're still here. I'm still going to include you on team calls and still invite you to things, but I'm not going to sit and spend hours on a one-on-one with you when you know deep down you're not doing the things behind the scenes. Because I wasn't. I wanted her to do them for me. She was good at it, so couldn't she just, do it twice as much? I totally thought Jamie was going to be the reason I hit Emerald. I thought she was going to do it for me. True statement. At some point, she had to make sure that I was there, but I wasn't her entire forefront. And so I have 3 different coaches here just to kind of give you a little perspective on 3 stories that I didn't really mentor or bless and release, but at times I did both at the same time. So Samantha is my coach on the left here. And she was a strong emerald for, I can't even know how long, maybe 2 years. And she is this cute little tiny thing. And so every time I'm like, she knows what to do. She gets on every team call. She's a part of all of our emerald pods. She knows that she can make this happen. And if she wants it, she knows I'm here. You guys probably know someone in your downline that you kind of feel that way about. Well, the thing about Samantha is I needed to look at our relationship as a third party. And I thought, have I ever really given her like a second chance other than that initial coach mentorship? Because I know she can do it. She's clearly emerald. She shows up. She has incredible results. This girl has like washboard abs after having a child and then getting pregnant and doing it again. I don't even know how people do that. You guys are superheroes. And so it's so cool because we did a little mastermind, if you will, a second chance dating, if you will, coach mentorship, just one-on-one. And I dove into her social media and we revamped it in 2 days because what I noticed is I would give her 3 tasks, maybe update your bio, change your profile picture, and I want you to have a call to action. She would do it. And in 2 days, I'd give her 3 more tasks. She would do it. She'd do 3 more tasks. Within about a month of doing that, she was diamond. And I asked her, what was the difference? And she said, honestly, I just didn't really know if I mattered because I saw all these other coaches who were succeeding. And I just thought, I know I can, but I just don't really know if it's for me. And I didn't even look at that from a different person's perspective because I was so focused on what I would do and what I was told that other coaches would do. That if she would, you can't, what is it? You can't lead a horse to water and make it drink or something like that. Well, she was at the water, but I wasn't helping her drink it. I just kind of forgot and kept going. Now, Danielle in the middle here, this is a coach that has been around since 2016. She was actually someone, I believe, that helped me hit diamond. I can't remember, but it was that long ago. And she was one of those coaches that was like, Sami, I'm going all in. For 3 weeks and then go away. Sami, I'm going all in for 2 weeks and then she'd go away. I'm going to do this thing. And it happened so many times that I was like, I had to say to her, Danielle, you know exactly what you got to do. She had great results. She just wasn't consistent. And I was like, you know what? You be consistent for a month. Let's do a one-on-one. I want to see you show up every single day. And then let's chat about the next steps. This girl hit diamond this year. 2016, she stopped stopping herself because we worked a little closer, but I didn't handhold getting her there. Ashley on the right here, she is actually one of my top coaches, and she was a coach I inherited. So I had a diamond coach who I adored, but she never really wanted to grow this business massively. So she kind of stepped back and she had Ashley, and Ashley was a freaking workhorse. This girl worked morning until night. And I noticed her because she was on that leaderboard and she was on every single team call. So what would you say in this coaching world, adopted her? And I always try to look at my downline, like, who are the people that need a little extra? So I adopted her. She went into my group chats because I knew that if this girl was hitting Success Club, she was going to go the distance. And so even though I usually only work with my PS coaches, I still have eyes for those people that are lost astray, because I know that without Jamie, I don't know where I would be. And now Ashley is an elite qualified coach. She's freaking crushing life. And she doesn't even need me anymore. She just runs her entire downline by herself. So cool, yet all very different instances. Gotta drink here before I go. Number 3, more tangible things, okay? This is one of the bread and butters of my business. This is something that has just simplified over this last year, yet we have been able to help a lot of different success starters pop. I've been able to help Rank advance 23 new diamonds this year. We've been able to pop a lot of momentum and simplifying the thing that I overcomplicated so much. My coach mentorship, everyone's like, okay, what do you do? God, give me all the trainings and stuff. I'm going to tell you how simple it is. And I think that's why it works. It's so simple because, one, I overcomplicated so many different areas of this business. And you guys, this business is already kind of overcomplicated. There is so much to learn that sometimes you feel like your head could explode. But why don't we simplify the business building activities? So I run a 2-week-long coach mentorship on Facebook Messenger. Weird, right? Facebook Messenger. That works because they get the notification. I can tag them. It goes, and it's not another freaking group on Facebook. I love it. You can just jot in this little chat here all day long, and it's not too overwhelming. Things don't get lost. You just scroll up. Things are sorted by photos and videos so that you can click that. There's links. It's so great. 2 weeks long. I usually run this with 1 to 2 other coaches. And the reason I do that is just because it gives them a different perspective. Because if I bring on someone who is a mom, I don't know how you guys do what you do. What if I ran it with one of my top mom coaches and she was able to give a training about fitting it in around a kid's schedule? Boom. Now, what if they bring on someone who's in school? And they're like, I haven't been in school in 10 years. Cool. Well, I got my master's in health science about 2 years ago. I know exactly how to run this business while writing a thesis and working part-time as a dental assistant. If I can do it, they can do it. So just cross-referencing all of these different personalities, and a lot of my coaches are different Enneagram types. So some of them are more straightforward, tough love. Some of them are more in their feels. And it's so amazing to just be able to help each other's coaches, plus staying in phase 1. Because again, if you spend all of your time mentoring and getting these people, getting them so excited, and then all of a sudden, oh shoot, I didn't hit Success Club. But my mentorship was great. No. You got to be hitting Success Club. So why don't we take the time that we're spending mentoring and also go send those invites while your other coach is doing the training that day? So day 1, they have a getting started right call. And in this getting started right call is all the basics, nothing fancy, but that is day 1. And day 2, Emerald in 24 hours call. These are both things I recorded. They're on YouTube. They're saved in the notes section of my phone and computer so that at any given time I can send them. And what's crazy about that is I used to onboard a coach and be so scared of word vomiting on them or scaring them away from working the business that I was like, okay, your first goal is going to be Emerald. It's your first milestone as a coach. You are going to hit this. It's going to be so exciting. And if you want to hit it Thursday, great. But if you want to wait a couple weeks, that's fine too. Well, now you just instilled in their head that this is a milestone. And if you guys have hit Emerald before, you know that Emerald's a decision. And sometimes that decision is just calling up 2 people, distant family members, friend, coworker, college roommate, boyfriend at the time. Thank you, Adam. Sometimes it's doing those things and setting the confidence right away. When I first started this business and I overcomplicated this big milestone to hit Emerald, I hardly rank advanced any. Now they know it in the first 24 to 48 hours of their business, and I'm having a lot more people hit Emerald with the simplicity that Emerald is a decision. I also ask my new coaches, are you going to be a walker, jogger, or runner? I don't personally love the hobby coach, business builder, discount coach thing. And the reason is because I think you're either building a business or you're not. I don't really think there's this hobby coach because I was spending less time as a hobby coach, but I was still a business builder. And there were times I thought I was a business builder, but I really wasn't doing anything, right? So are you a walker, jogger, and runner? And the reason I also ask that is because I tell them, hey, if you're a runner and you really want to do this business, you're going to hit Emerald this week. I set that confidence. If they think they're a jogger, cool. You're going to try to hit Emerald in the first 2 to 3 weeks. It's still a push goal. And then if you're going to be a walker, great. You're going to shoot for Emerald in the first month to 6 weeks. I still have the walkers shoot for it in the first 6 weeks. Because if they don't hit it, that's okay. But you are the coach. You set the precedent. And then throughout the mentorship, things are listed here. If you guys want to take a screenshot, that's fine. Tips on inviting, objections, free groups, all social media. And then, how many of you guys would do anything for a free tank top? Like, hello, I would pretty much do anything I had to do to get something for free. And so what I started doing was incentives for my coaches achieving milestones. Now, these things can be a lot smaller if you're a newer coach, and they can be bigger if you want really to kind of ramp up your elite points towards elite and premier. So example 1 is tier 1 is always help one person with a challenge pack. That can be a client and that can be a coach. It does not matter. And at that point, usually I give them a PD book. Why? Because might as well get their mindset right. That's a great thing for a new coach to have. Tier 2 is signing 2 coaches. Well, hello, Emerald. I would put Emerald, but some people are already Emerald by the time they get into the mentorship. So two coaches, you're still building your business. You're still doing the great things. Usually that's like a $20 Amazon gift card. And then tier 3, hit Success Club and sign the 2 coaches, which could be the 2 coaches from tier 2. And that could be a little bit bigger. Maybe that's a tripod. It's always business related. I don't just give like random things. I mean, a tank top is great as well, but you'd have to have that pre-made from Etsy or a local person. And so I just like to do things on Amazon because hello, Prime, that is my favorite thing in the world. All right, so number 4. I spend 100% with my priorities. This is actually my thesis here in the upper right corner. So you're probably going to be like, what does that even mean? And, that's a story for another time. But that was my thesis. And the reason I'm showing you this is because how many times I could have built my business when I was spending 50% of my time on my business. And what I mean is, if you guys have a significant other or you have a friend and you're this person, yep. Wait, what? What did you say? That was me and my now husband. And he was never super skeptical of Beachbody, but I sure as hell don't think he loved when I was really starting this business. And I gave him 50% of my time and energy and love. And when we would be on date night, my phone was on the counter. And I'm going to show you the other side of this too, because I think a lot of coaches will hear that and be like, oh, yep, gotta unplug, gotta be with my person. Okay, first off, can we minimize the idea of unplugging? Like, we have to work our asses off in order to grow a business that we want. I am now living the life that I dreamt of 5 years ago, but I can tell you, I didn't take weekends off. I didn't just all of a sudden unplug for a weekend because things got hard. I worked when things were hard, and I worked harder when things got harder. And I mean that from the bottom of my soul, because when I hear coaches say that in their first couple years of the coach, I'm like, no, because when you do that, you're wasting your time and you're prolonging that dream you want. So when I say I spent 100%, it means that when I was writing my thesis, that was my focus. When I was with Adam, that was my focus. And when I was working on Beachbody, you bet your ass that I shut myself into a little, I didn't have an office at the time. I had a little cubicle with headphones in, and that was not date night. That was not, hey, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. Because what I could do is work so much more diligently on my business in an hour than if I had 2 hours and spent 50% effort on. The thing I had to realize is I had to crash my news feed when I was working on Beachbody, because one of my coaches and best friends, Alex, said to me that social media can't always be like a downtime activity. And when she said that, I was like, whoa. Because how often do we work on Beachbody for an hour, 2 hours, however long you do it, and then you get into bed and you're scrolling and Instagram, and now you're on your friend's dog's Facebook, and just like time is a time suck. And not only does your significant other feel like you're always on your phone, but you feel like you're always working, because now you have blended this idea of social media and your business. No wonder you're exhausted. No wonder you feel like, oh, all I'm doing is working, because you're on your phone and you haven't done 100% because you're scrolling and now associating it with the 2 hours before that you were actually working. Am I calling some of you guys out? Because I called myself out when I did that. And so no one is going to care more about your goals than you. Melissa believes in you. I believe in you. I know you can do this. Do you? I can't care more about your goals than you. After this call, some of you guys are going to close up shop. You're going to put your notes away. You're going to be like, crush team call, happy Thursday, killing it. You're going to wake up and you're going to do the same thing. Or some of you, the 10% of you, they're going to take action. And they're not going to be on Facebook while they're on a team call. And I don't know if any of you guys are, but I know I've done that. And I'm calling you out because at every given moment when you're working, when you are sitting down and diligently working, you got to be focused on that goal of staying home with your babies, that goal of traveling the world, that goal of paying off your student loans, that goal of loving yourself for the first time in your life. Not being on a team call while meal prepping and being like, yup. Are you feeling me here? Like, do you understand the big impact that these little things are doing for your greater purpose? You will have stronger relationships with your clients, with your coaches, with your significant other, with your family, if you give them that 100%. But then they also understand that when you're working on Beachbody, you are actually doing the things that you said you were going to do. If you can get rid of those distractions, that like voice inside your head that you have to do everything all the time, you're going to be so focused on your goals that, I hate to say it, but I love to say it, you're not going to really give a shit of what anyone else is doing, because you're not going to have time to see it. You're going to be so laser focused on what you want that it doesn't really matter that Susie Sally did that or didn't do that in her business. You're not going to really give a shit that your friends didn't show up for the team call like they said they would, because you are going to be so focused on what you want that you're going to remember, you know what? Doesn't matter what anyone else wants, because they don't care about what I need. I do. Number 5, thing behind the scenes, consistent recognition. Changing gears here, because I had asked 2 of my top coaches, best friends, bridesmaids. I was like, what do I do behind the scenes? Because I show a lot on social media. If you guys do follow me, you see a lot of what I do with coaching. And I think there's something to that. I try to show as much as I physically can. And I think that's also why I get a lot of people who sign up for the business, because that's my biggest passion, but that's also what I share the most of. So something behind the scenes that you see me do a lot in one of my team pages It's all my personally sponsored coaches, and I have a weekly schedule. And I don't care if you're the only person on this list, you guys, just get into a habit. This has created so much momentum that my coaches now do it with their teams, and their coaches are doing it. It's the coolest ripple effect. But it's simple, but it also is the little nuggets along the way. So Monday, in the top left, you will see top team builders. Those are all my personally sponsored coaches. I go through a list, and the person who's recruited the most gets their picture. You'll see my coach, Casey. She's beautiful, and she crushed it that week. Okay. Next, on Tuesday, we have the Emerald to Diamond update. So I didn't post a picture of this because I didn't want to get too confusing. But this is a document where every coach who's Emerald or Diamonds who have dropped, yes, I do put those people on there, and they move up the ladder. So maybe it'll be Sami Hoffines, 3 active coaches, 1 Emerald. And then the next week is 4 active coaches, 1 Emerald. And behind that, it's going to say moved up. And I'm going to put her with the bracket of 4 active coaches, 6 active coaches. And then they can graduate from the list and get shouted out. That has created a lot of, if you guys have a lot of competitive coaches in your downline, but it also shows to people out there that you got to be growing. If they consistently see the same person that they've looked up to for the last 6 months, but that person has 3 active coaches for 6 months, they're going to be like, I want to surpass that person. I don't want to be the person that's just always been on this board. They want to graduate from it. Wednesday, any type of Wednesday. This is kind of just, I just put Wednesday because I usually do it Wednesdays, but it's also whenever I see it. I do follow my coaches. I know a lot of coaches that say they don't. I do follow my downline because I want them to know that I support them. I also want them to know that I'm watching. And usually they show up a little bit harder when I do. It's kind of like little angel and devil on the shoulder right there. But you can also, if you're someone that gets too blindsided about following coaches, put them in like a shared folder or a saved folder, all of their handles, and you can just take that 30 minutes and just pop them in when you feel comfortable and you've done your invites for the day. So it kind of depends on your own personality. So you can streamline it a little bit better than what I do. So I just shout them out, especially when they've implemented something from a team call. That to me is saying you are coachable, you are growth, but it also shows other coaches that's what Sami's looking for in a successful coach. That's what she deems a successful coach because they implemented right away. So that's Laura in the top right. She implemented something that we had talked about in a team call right then. Thursday, payday report, team cycle bonus, insert income disclaimer. I usually show my coaches, PS coaches, their team cycle bonus. And then once they've reached $1,000 of team cycle bonus, it's just kind of like 1,000. And then the highest person who's not 1,000 will get their picture up there again. So it's a lot of recognition, but for me, that has worked so well with my coaches. And then Friday is the Success Club update. So that is the bottom picture. Every single week I update where everyone is at. And even if you're the only person on it, I used to put myself as these pictures. Now I just want my coaches to be spotlighted. But even if you had just you or just one person, you have to remember Melissa's just one person and look at her entire downline. So many coaches are like, I want more business builders. I want more. Why? Quality over quantity. She is one coach and her downline is massive. I am one coach under Jamie and my team is about 4,000. So do we really need quantity or quality? Okay, switch the script. And then just private DMs, you guys know what to do, but I do try to at least a couple times a week just privately DM my coaches, especially those Enneagram 2s or Enneagram 7s, like people that just get really hype on that personal interaction. I'm in their DMs and I'm hyping them up because sometimes they need a hype girl and sometimes they got to be their own. But once in a while, I can be that person. Then last thing here, and if you guys have any questions about anything, I'm more than happy to answer them. So I just added this slide in right before this because it was obviously, I said to you guys that I was in my feels a little bit. And so I'm reading this personal development book. I got it today and I got to tell you, it's one of the greatest books I've ever read, at least with where I'm struggling with life. I picked it up. She's an Instagram influencer. It says, How to Be a Boss, BAWSE. It's beautiful. Also, if you're someone who likes pictures and stuff. All right. Anyways. So she was talking about this in the book. So I can't coin this, even though I would love to be the one that made this up. what I tell myself and the real reason behind it. Okay. In those two pictures, I chose these two because you see the person on the left, and I have all the things, like all the positive vibes or whatever in my caption. My right picture was me in my feels. Do you know which picture had a coach, not just a coach, a diamond coach cancellation right before it? The right one. Surprise, surprise. Some days I'm in my feels, you guys. We all got to feel the feels, but you know what? I give it a day, because this business can be exhausting, but also amazing at the very same time. And I have to ask myself, like, can I be Coach Sami, or do I have to be friend Sami today? To myself, to my coaches, to my clients. But I really want to call myself out. And this is a question that I really want you guys to ask yourself the next time, or maybe tonight, or whenever you're feeling some type of way about this business that's not positive. Why am I feeling this way? Why? Can you pinpoint it? What will this in 5 years be on the grand scheme of things? What will this one picture that didn't have a good Instagram affinity do in 5 years? Does that make you feel a little bit dumber that you were really upset that your picture didn't blow up? What about your challenge group? It wasn't very good this month, right? Like, oh, the engagement was not good. What will that do in 5 years for your life? Why are we obsessing over the littlest things? Is this correlated to my why? Will this, person that sent me a mean message be any way, shape, or form correlated with me being able to take my family on a vacation to Disney? No. What is the real reason I didn't hit Success Club last month? Was it because everyone said no, or did you actually invite enough people? Was it because you watched an entire season of Haunting of Bly Manor? Was it because you're like me and you just really like sleep and mornings just aren't your jam? What's the real reason you didn't hit Success Club? And those are the moments that I need to call myself out, because was I really in control? Why or why not? Sometimes you really have to ask yourself, do you need to take ownership? Do you need to call yourself out? Do you need to find a solution? Because you can't just say, yep, you're right, Netflix, I watched way too much Netflix last month, won't happen again. Okay, you called yourself out, but you didn't find a solution. What are you going to do so that Netflix doesn't do that to you again? Because they're coming out with more stuff, trust me. They sure are. They're building their atmosphere. They're building their empire. Are you? Are you going to cancel Netflix? And people are like, what? No, I don't know about that. I'll just be better about it. No, find a solution. Find a solution to the problem so that it doesn't happen again. Those are the things I do behind the scenes. Because sure, I feel my feels. I cry it out. I vent. I do the things. But what about tomorrow? What are you going to do? What is the solution to the problem you're feeling today? Because if you just complain and wonder and, oh, I suck, what is that going to do for you and your goals? Nothing. It will only keep you away further. Because I can't do it for you. I know what I'm doing behind the scenes. I know that even though I struggle waking up and I really, really, really love sleep so much. It's also, I get it, I'm not a mom yet, so I can't, use that. But what do I want more? A future of my why and being able to travel with Adam and staying home with my kids? Or do I just want to sleep in another 30 minutes? Whoa, that's a different perspective. The real reason here, what I tell myself is that, but I wake up 4 days early a week. What about the other 3 I deserve to sleep in? No, the real reason is that I'm too lazy to wake up, and I try to make up for it later in the day. The real reason here is that I just am making excuses. That's flipping the script. And that's calling ourselves out. Now, I don't know your guys' story, and I don't know where you're at. And I don't know what you've been through, but I do know this. You will either be the reason you make your dreams happen or the reason you won't. This business is a vehicle for so many things. This business has transformed my life upside down. You know that dental school that told me no? Actually, 3 times. I missed the 3rd time that I forgot to tell you that. I stopped telling them anything and I started telling myself yes. I didn't give a shit that they told me no because Beachbody told me yes. And Beachbody continues to tell me yes. Even when I complain, even when I don't want to, even when things are hard, but I self-evaluate every single day. What did I do well today? What could I have done better? What will serve my audience more tomorrow? And even though I feel the feels, what solution can I create for a better tomorrow and my better future? Because if I don't create a solution to the problems that were last month, or the lack of engagement in my challenge groups, or maybe I've sent 300 invites without any responses, if I'm not self-evaluating why that's happening, maybe my invite is not very good. Maybe I'm not talking about it enough on social media. Maybe I'm too direct. Maybe it's too long. Maybe I'm overthinking. But I need to find a solution before I just blame the problem and put my trust and my belief out there. Because I have to believe in me and I have to believe in what I want. And venting about it and wondering, wishing, hoping, whatever, it's not going to get me there. But you know what will work? So I think that's everything. Do you guys have any questions about anything I talked about or anything I didn't talk about?
Okay, Sami, well, I have to come in here and I have to say that that team call was extremely mind-blowing. I felt like you were talking to me the whole time. And I'm here with my mom and she's listening as well. And when you're talking about the Netflix, she's speaking to me about that new show that came out. She's laughing. And honestly though, that was absolutely amazing. And thank you so much. There was somebody who did ask a question. They said, how do you grow your business without using your family and friends?
Great question. So a little about my story that I didn't share was that when Jamie got me to finally sign up, it was about a year into her coaching journey. Maybe I did say that. But the part I didn't say is that all of my family and friends were under her by that point. Okay. My best friend growing up, my childhood best friend, is one of Jamie's elite coaches. One of my other best friends, one of my roommates, was also a diamond coach under her. My mother, under Jamie. I finally got my dad after 5 years. He wasn't a coach and he eventually signed up under me. And I was like, yes, I got one. And I obviously have Adam. But when I hear people say like my family and friends didn't join, mine did, but with the wrong sister, right? Like they could have signed up with me, but really I was too stubborn to sign up when I was supposed to. But anyways, the point of that story is that I was forced into building my business completely in cold market. 99.9% of my entire business was people I did not know. And I think the biggest factor here, and I would say that, I'm going to say consistency is key because actually, start with that. I want you to ask yourself, how long consistently have you been consistent? 10 plus stories a day, never missing Success Club, posting on social media at least one post, inviting at least 10 people every single day, drinking Shakeology every single day. And I think of Carl Deichler when I say this because he does his day 1 through 365 of Shakeology. I bet on day 211, he doesn't necessarily want Shakeology. Maybe he had a hard day, maybe he had a busy day, but he drinks it. Why? Because otherwise, it's now day 0 again. And I think about that with coaching because when I see coaches on social media, they're like, yeah, I've been consistent. And I'm like, ooh, but last Thursday, you had 2 stories. You weren't even talking in them. Oh, last weekend you unplugged. I didn't see anything from you. Oh, what about last week when you didn't send any invites? So when I think about building a business on social media, I want people to sign up with me because they know at any day of the week, I'm there. I am showing up for me. I am believing in myself when things are hard. And it might not be the best day and the most amount of engaging stories, but I'm still there. I am still there. I did not miss a day on Instagram for the first 4 years as a coach. Not a single day. I was out of the country without Wi-Fi. I paid my friend to post for me. We had a death in Adam's immediate family. Still posted because I had planned stock photos. I figured out a way. And it wasn't always easy. But I think it's so important for you to ask yourself, like, if I was coming to my social media, would I trust me? And I mean authentically trust you, because when people sign up as a client, I think we forget sometimes they send us before photos that they might not even send their family. They're sending us like some of the most vulnerable parts of them because they're insecure, they're struggling. And if they don't trust us, they will not sign up with us. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't, if I didn't get to sign up with my own sister, it would have taken me a really long time to trust somebody. So when I ask my new coaches, how long were you following me before you signed up? 85% of them say 9 months or over a year. So when you ask yourself, have I posted every single day for a year? I bet you will be shocked when you start that day today. Or you look back and you're like, ooh, yeah, I'm only at day 16. I thought I was at a year. That type of trust builds character. That type of trust creates empires, because now people, when they sign up with you, they're not just signing up with you as their coach. They trust you. They know you're going to get them results. Why? Because you've gotten yourself results every single day, in every single season, at every single moment for a year. I watched my sister go through pregnancy, having a baby, going back, and I was like, man, that's so inspiring. Even at a place where I'm not ready for kids, I wasn't even engaged at the point when I was like, wow, if she could, I could. What if you were that person for someone? What if you started day one of no more excuses? And the key here is to hold yourself accountable, because it's going to get hard. You're going to be really busy one day. You're not going to want to one day. You're going to want to do everything, but it's going to be 9 p.m. and you're going to be like, oh, it's okay. I'll do it double tomorrow. No, create that consistency. People will be drawn to it. I can guarantee you that. You'll never see a top coach not hit Success Club. You will never see a top coach just be like, me. Like Melissa, she's still posting and she's on vacation and her stories are dope. But why not you? I think that's hopefully answers your question. I know it's a little side tangent here, but I think the consistency here is everyone talks about it, but no one really explains it. And I think it's so important to ask yourself, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to hold myself accountable when that day comes and I want to start back at day 0?
No, that's a very good explanation. There's a couple more questions coming in here. So let's see here. Can you explain Thursday Recognition Day again?
Yeah, so Thursday Recognition Day, when you're a diamond coach, you get 10% matching bonus of your emeralds and above team cycle bonus. You also get 5% as a ruby. So say, for example, I'm a diamond coach, Adam's an emerald, and he cycles $14. Well, on the payday report, I'm going to put $14, Adam Hoffhines, and that's going to be my person because he's the only person that cycled that week. And that's great. So if you guys are not yet diamond, you have something to look forward to. It's really cool because if he cycles $14, I made $1.40 matching bonus on top of that. So that is what my Thursday is. And then I always include the income disclaimer.
Okay. And can you give an example of how you invite people you do not know?
Yeah. So personally, I want you to ask yourself, like, how would you want to be invited? And I'm going to give you a scenario that my friend Kate told me And this is exactly how I would want to be invited. So if I'm having a birthday party and you guys are friends with me on Facebook and I post that I'm having a party Thursday night at 8 p.m., I'd love for anyone to show up, bring a bottle of alcohol or, tequila, obviously. Would you come if we were high school friends? You'd be like, oh, Sammy was fun back then. Huh. Hope she has fun at a party. Maybe I'll see pictures. I wonder who's going. But what if we haven't seen each other in a couple years and I message you and I'm like, dude, I miss you. I'm having a party on Thursday. Would you like to come? All you have to do is bring a bottle of tequila. You'd be like, huh, she actually wants me there. And hopefully you'll come. So for me, I like to directly invite somebody. And I talk so much about my boot camp and my coaching mentorship and my stories that to me is building the relationship. I want people to know me. Like Brittany was talking about when she first started. She talked about my dog. Okay. My dog is my world. And if people don't know of him, they don't probably follow me because I talk about him every single day. Okay. So same thing with my boot camps and my coaching mentorships. When I invite them, I'm hoping that they already kind of know what I'm talking about because I talk about it every single day. We've built that relationship because I let them into my life. I show them the behind the scenes sides of all the things. That's why this call was hard for me to prepare for because I was like, what don't I show? I show a lot. And that's by choice because I want them to know how this business can fit into their every single day life. So when I invite someone, it's something as simple as, hey, personalize, tell them something about them. It's someone who's following me as well. I don't cold message people. I want them to come into my storefront and then I'm going to invite them. And if you guys are not getting people in, that's a whole different topic. Okay. So I'm talking about once they're in your storefront, personalize it. And then I'm going to tell them what I'm inviting to. Hey, thanks so much for watching my stories. If you haven't seen, I'm opening up my October boot camp. And here's the piece that's so important. Give them a value instead of I'm having this boot camp. I have 4 spots left. I would love to have you. You guys, it is not about us. This business, I know you want to hit Success Club, but it is not about you. It is about them. How are they going to receive that as a consumer? Because I can tell you, oh yeah, I'm selling these magazines. Do you want to buy one? I need 3 more people to buy a magazine. You'd be like, what are you talking about? But what if you were struggling with your skincare? And I talked to you about how this magazine had some of the best skincare routines that I'd ever seen. And I know people who have really transformed their skin and it's no longer, dry, oily, whatever. You might perceive that message entirely different than if I just said, I'm selling magazines. Like, this isn't about us. And we forget that. And so I will just say what the value of my boot camp is. Maybe we're talking about self-love. Maybe we're building healthy habits. Right now, I'm a huge Harry Potter Potterhead. If you guys are Potterheads, hello, Gryffindor. We are doing a challenge group based on the Hogwarts houses. And all of November, I'm putting them into houses. They're going to be trying to challenge each other for house points. We're going to have random Quidditch matches. Like, that sounds super nerdy to you. My audience kills it. Like, they love it. There's 3,000 plus comments of 100 people in 3 days. That speaks volumes for itself. You know what I'm talking about on social media? That. So when I invite to it, they're like, oh, I already saw her talk about it. Whether or not it's for them, that's not my decision. But I can't make that decision for them. I can invite them, but it's not my decision whether or not they get to decide to join. They get to make that decision. But I get to be the person calling them up saying, hey, I would love to do this with you.
I gave you goosebumps. So a couple more questions here, Sami. How much time did you spend working your business in the early days?
I would say that I was just actually talking to Jamie about this week. And I know a lot of coaches will say, you can build a successful business in 1 hour a day. And I agree. I think you can have a diligent hour. I didn't do that. So I'm not going to tell you that that works because I personally don't know if it did. I worked never sitting down doing a power hour. I would have loved to do that. But writing a thesis, if you guys have ever wrote one, it is demanding and it has all over different hours. And grad school is a whole different, curveball in itself. So I worked in 30-minute pockets throughout the day in between classes, after classes, before classes, and I worked diligently with my tracker about 2 to 2.5 hours every single day. And that to me built a substantial business. And some days it was a little bit less if we had an exam. Sometimes it was a little bit more, but I minimum made sure that even if I lost a little bit of sleep, that I worked at least 2 hours a day.
Perfect. And the very last question I think we're going to ask is, what's one thing that you do that impacts or improves your team culture the most?
Oh, good question. Gosh, I'm obsessed with my team, as I'm sure you guys are or will be. I think the key here is like be a coach first, but close second, a friend. Like that sounds so cheesy, but you got to relate to these people because you got to be so inspirational to them, but you also have to be the engine that could. You have to show them what's possible, and that belief starts with you. And I think when you put different personalities, it can be kind of like this random salad bowl of things in. It can also be really beautiful if you make sure that you're still the glue that holds it all together. But know that you're not in charge of their success. You can create so much, but at the same time, you can't do everything. And so I know I'm a little contradictory here, but I think a lot of people are like, well, I want to have this close-knit team and no one's really knows each other. Great, get to know them a little bit more. Figure out their Enneagram. Figure out what makes them tick, because I can tell you that girl, Ashley, that I showed you, that's now one of my top coaches, she's an Enneagram 8. If I were to go with her and be like, I'm so proud of you, you're so amazing, she'd be like, what? That's not how she's wired. She wants me to message her and be like, dude, keep doing what you're doing. You're crushing it. Like she wants the tough love. She wants to be criticized. She wants the growth factor. Whereas some of my other coaches, they would be so scared if I came at them with tough love. Get to know their personalities, because you might be shocked that your coaches actually operate in a complete opposite way because they're attracted to the opposite personality. They might have followed you because you are tough love and you just shoot it straight on social media and they're like, I need that. Even though they can't process it very well, they need it in their life. When you start giving them tough love because that's how you're motivated, that's not how it works. That's not how they're going to be growing the next phase of this business. I'm very much like a words of affirmation person too. And so in the beginning, even though my sister hates that, she had to be like, I see you, you're crushing it. And that little 1 to 2 sentences, I was good because I knew I was in the right direction. And so I kind of went all over the place, but I think the personalities thing is key here, because if your team doesn't have culture, there's a piece missing. And it's either that they don't know that where to show up together or how each other actually fits in. But when you start seeing these different personalities complement each other, that's when magic really happens. Because that girl, Ashley, who is a little bit more tough love, brings fire to a team, and she collaborates with a little bit more of like one of my, Enneagram 2s. And even though they're very opposite personalities, they co-host a group together, and it is fire. Because now you have a little bit of the tough love, a little bit of the feels, cross-training each other's coaches, and really just navigating that next level thing. Because I think that there's something to be said about, kind of captivating where people's personality is at the time in their life. And if you can do that, man, I mean, you're gonna skyrocket. But if you feel like you're doing all the right things and you're showing up, just keep swimming. Like that is my motto for this year. When things get hard, just keep swimming.
Well, Sami, that call was absolutely amazing. I'm very, very inspired. I know that the 71 people or more who were on this call were also very inspired as well. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy evening to be a part of our day and to help us grow as a community. I appreciate it a lot.
Thanks for having me, guys. I hope you guys have an awesome Thursday and keep crushing it.
Thank you, Sami. Appreciate you.